Well, you've been sending questions in from all around the world to put to Juan Mata. I'm absolutely delighted that our Spanish midfielder joins us now. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Everything okay here? Thank you.
Good. Well, let's get into these questions because we honestly, it's from all over the world. So we'll crack on with these. First of all, this one from Hitesh, who's from the States, who says, "What's the first name that comes to your mind with whom you dine with at a restaurant when this pandemic is finally over?"
The first name that I will have dinner at my restaurant when this is all over.
Absolutely.
My parents, my sister, and my girlfriend.
You've been very well trained. That's a good answer.
That's more than one though, but
that'll do.
Is what I feel.
It's a good answer. Just on a similar food note, this one from Graham, who's here in the UK, says, "Have you ever thought of putting some Manchester cuisine in your restaurant? Let's say black pudding and tatas bravas."
It's a good consideration. We'll have it on the list. I have to speak with the chef. He's the boss, but I'm sure he will like to play with it. So yeah.
The black pudding would work.
If we put it in the restaurant, will you come?
Oh, I'll be there. Of course, I'll be there.
All right.
Good. This one is from Tristan, who's here in the UK as well. This is from Facebook, who said, "Who is the best young player who you've seen come from the youth ranks?" I'm assuming he's talking about United here. The best young player who you've seen come from the youth ranks.
Obviously, the first one that comes to my mind is Marcus Rashford. Everyone knows that he's a special player, and I have to admit that in the first training that he did with us, with the first team, it was Louis van Gaal, our manager. Yeah. And after the training, we did a little game, and he was playing on the right side. And after everything finished, Ander Herrera came to me and said, "You see this player, how good he is. He will be a player for us." And so he realized straight away. After one training, Ander knew that this guy was something special. And obviously, of course, after that, he was very determined since the first moment he played with us, scoring very quick, many goals, and of course for country also. So I think he's probably the most special player that has come through my time here, through the academy.
Yeah, okay, good answer. This one from Frank, who's from the States, Frank Gillis, who says, "Do you still get nervous or chills before coming out of the tunnel before a match?"
Yeah, I do. I speak about it in the book, in my book, because it doesn't matter how many games have you played. It doesn't matter how old you are or how experienced you can be. I think you always feel that tension, that nerves in the tunnel, and they disappear as soon as you step on the pitch and you start the game. But before the game is the worst moment in terms of how to handle these nerves and excitement and put them all together into the pitch. But I still feel it, definitely, yeah.
This one from Mari Carmen Fernandez, who's in Spain, who says, "What's your best moment in your football career?" So we're talking about not just United, your best moment in your football career, and the worst, and why?
The best one, it has to be the World Cup, the World Cup that we won in 2010 with Spain. That final when Andrés Iniesta scored the goal, we were all checking the time, checking the referee, checking if it was offside or not. And then when the referee blew the end of the game, that was like an explosion of happiness and energy, and we've made history by then because Spain didn't win a World Cup before that time. So probably I think that's what every player dreams about, winning, for example, a World Cup for the first time with your country. And so that was the highest, probably. Of course, the Champions League and Europa League, and I've been lucky enough, but the World Cup stands out. And then the worst was probably when I was at Chelsea. I was voted 2 years Player of the Year. I was playing regularly, and I was playing very good and enjoying my football. And then situation changed. I stopped playing as much. My confidence was not as high, and so it was a challenge in my career that I had to overcome. But I think it's normal because I don't know any player that has a career that is going always good and always right. There's injuries, there's managers that don't play a football that is perfect for your qualities. There's moment in the club that is not going very well. So you have to adapt to these challenges and overcome them, and then you will be even a better player.
You mentioned Chelsea there, and here is a cheeky one from Daisy Mendez from the States, who says, "Do you miss playing for Chelsea? Brackets, please say no."
You know, I'm very happy where I am. I'm very, very happy to be playing for Manchester United, to be able to say that I play for this incredible club, playing at Old Trafford every 2 weeks. But I'm very grateful for my time at Chelsea. There were 2.5 years, and they were personally very, very good for me in terms of my development as a player, in terms of my development as a person. It was when I arrived to England and I needed to learn the language, another country, another culture, and in terms of trophies also. But the reality is now I'm in Manchester United that I couldn't be happier.
This is from Daryl McPherson, who's in Australia, who says, would you like to see Premier League games played for points in international countries such as Australia?
Well, I think it's something that it might happen eventually. We have seen it in different sports. We have seen it with some sports played abroad and they are still in competitions. I don't know if it will happen or not, but because of the way that football seems to be going, it might happen rather soon than later. It will be great for our fans around the world, to be honest. It will be great to see us play live, playing for competitive points. It will be a bit difficult to organize, to be honest, and also a little bit unfair for the people that live in the UK and that they have been going to Old Trafford to every single game. So it's a little bit of a discussion there to speak deeper about it, but I think it will happen in football. It might happen, yeah.
This one from South Africa, from Cheslin, who says, Bruno calls you the little magician. Do you have a nickname for him?
I just chant his song, which is Bruno, Bruno, every morning when I see him. So I think he's happy with my morning welcome. He's a great guy. We have become very close, and obviously a great player.
It's amazing. The impact, isn't it? It must be quite hard to come to a new country, a new club, but
yeah,
impact's been amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's done great.
This is from Joe Norbury in the UK. What feeling do you get when you put on a United shirt?
First, I try to remind myself every time how privileged I am, because you know, when you get into a routine and you've been playing for 6, 7, 8 years for Manchester United, you can lose perception of the size of the club, of where you are, because it becomes routinary. But it's not at all. Every time that you put the Manchester United shirt in training, or especially in games, it's a feeling of pride. It's a feeling of luck, and it's a privilege, to be honest, to be representing this club in better or worse games, in better or worse moments. But the actual fact of being a player in this club, it's something that it's incredible. And of course, it's not enough to only put the shirt. Of course, you have to play good and you have to win trophies, and that's my aim, and that's our aim. But the feeling, I think, that stands out is pride.
Now, this one from Gary Jenkins, who's in France, who said, "Would you like to go into coaching or management when you retire?"
It's a difficult question. Some days yes, some days no. Some days yes, because I love football. I love the way you can train to play in a certain way, that you can train to develop players and to make them reach their highest level. I like many parts of the actual game and what happens on the pitch. But on the other side, you know, your life, it's constantly question, and the demands are so high because it all depends that the ball goes in or it doesn't go in into the goal, and you can win or not. And so your ability in a certain way is judged by results. And if you're a player, you can change the result because you're in the game and you can shoot better or worse a free kick. But if you're a manager from the bench, you can put the team and you can have an idea, but you cannot score the goal. And that's not fair for them sometimes. So it's a very demanding job in terms of the hours that you have to put in and the mental demands and the pressure and everything. But on the other side, it's fantastic to see how a team can play the way you want and the players understand your ideas. So I don't know. I don't know. I need to think more about what I want to do after football. But what I want now is to play for many years still, because I'm still enjoying.
I think I have a lot of options.
Maybe
Yeah.
I apply to work in Man U TV.
No, you're welcome. We'll accept anybody, honestly. No.
Anybody, okay.
No. Eric Murphy in Ireland says, do you see yourself finishing a career at United, or would you like to eventually go back to Spain?
Well, at the moment, I see myself in here and playing for as long as I can in the club. As you know, there are some players that after that they go to different countries and they try a different league or culture or experience in life. I don't know if I'm going to do that, because I think it all depends on the circumstances. If you speak, for example, with Michael Carrick, maybe he had a different idea, and then from one day to another, he became a manager and assistant. So you never know. So I prefer to focus on present or short-term goals.
On that point, Fran Fuentes in Spain says, would you fancy coming back to my club, Real Oviedo, for the last few years of your career?
Yeah, that's my home team. That's the team that I support in Spain. I know a lot of people there in the club, and of course I'm a fan myself. So at some point it would be nice, because we are some professional players that we have come through the ranks of Oviedo, like Santi Cazorla, Michu, who used to play at Swansea, Adrián López, who used to play at Atletico de Madrid, myself. So it would be nice if we could all meet again at Real Oviedo and try to bring the team to first division, because right now it's in second division. Hopefully it can be in first division soon, but yeah, it would be nice.
This is a tricky one from Dean Harrington in the UK. Who's the greatest player in the Premier League? I don't know whether he means now or ever.
Do I have to say me because of the song? Or I have to say that the best Premier League player, I mean, I used to love to play with and to play against Eden Hazard. For me, for many years, he was the best in the league. He could win a game by himself, and you know, I used to train with him, and I know how good he is and he can be. So he has been very unlucky in his time in Real Madrid with so many injuries, but I'm pretty sure that he will show his real level whenever he's fit to do that, and injuries are far from him. But other than him, I mean, you had many players. You can speak about the best player in the history of the Premier League, and you can put some of my ex-teammates like Wasa, for sure. Wayne Rooney has to be up there. Ryan Giggs has to be up there. I'm sure Paul Scholes has to be there. You can speak about ex-teammates from Chelsea: Lampard, Terry, Drogba. So it's very difficult to pick one.
This one from Andre Peters in South Africa, who says, how do you deal with being left out of the team sheet, especially when you're in good form? I suppose it's something everyone has to deal with, but how do you deal with it?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy for the manager, I guess, to make those decisions, but it's not easy as a player, because, you know, there's a real happiness feeling when you are playing a lot, when you feel important in a team, in any team. And I think it helps you to perform better. So when you are left out of the team, I think you face two challenges. One is to cope with the situation and don't give up and be ready whenever you play. And the second one is not only playing, but you have to reach the best level. And when you feel that you are not the first choice, sometimes it's not easy to do that. So I think you have to overcome both and show that it doesn't matter what the manager decides. You only can control your performance, your behavior, and your attitude. And if you do that, I'm sure that when you have the chance, you will perform better. And then the manager will have to put you in the team because you're doing so good.
Lots of people have asked the sort of same question. So if you have asked this question, I've seen it. I'm just going to give this example with Margaret Bosworth in the UK saying your favourite goal for United and why. Lots of people have asked that, and there you go, your favourite goal.
I get repetitive, and I'm sure.
It's all right.
And I'm sure they get bored with my answer. I hope not, but it has to be the bicycle kick at Anfield. Not long ago, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So the day was 5 years ago, and it's still very present of course, in my life. But I would say that it's even more present in fans' life. And every time they speak to me or they send a message in social media, they come to training ground or to Old Trafford, they always remember that goal. So it has to be that one. Also, the goal in the FA Cup final against Crystal Palace, we were losing 1-0, and then I scored, and then Jesse scored a great goal in the extra time, so we could win. But if I have to pick one, it has to be Anfield.
I don't know whether this would be the same answer, but it's from Erlind. Excuse me if that's wrong, but Erlind from Kosovo, who says, "What's your best moment in the United kit?"
Best moment, my debut. It was a moment that I will always cherish. With Ole as a Cardiff manager,
Yes.
we were playing against Cardiff at Old Trafford. Also, the Europa League final that we won in Sweden. It was a very special trophy for all of us. It had been the terrorist attack in Manchester 2 hours before, so it was very special for us to win that trophy for the city. The game at Anfield, the FA Cup finals, the Community Shield final. I mean, there are many moments, but hopefully many more to come.
This one from Sarah Langley says, "What's been the biggest teammate prank that you've witnessed in your time with United?"
The biggest prank? I have to think about this. I mean, there are pranks of all sorts. You know, we park our cars just in front of as the entrance to the dressing room, and sometimes when somebody leaves the car open, there's some people that tend to open it and bring everything that's in the car outside, and then throw water bottles, or throw balls or pillows that people sometimes have in the car, or clothes or something like that. And leave the doors open and everything like that. That's not very helpful, right? No. Sometimes some people get thrown into the ice cold bath, and there's nothing they can do about it. Between 2 or 3 other players, we bring one and we throw him into the ice cold for something that he's done or he said, or if he has lost a game in training. So yeah. Small things. I'm trying to remember one big one, but it must have been when Rio was still here, because he was a big joker. Or Zlatan, he might have done something also. I'll have to think more about that.
Linda from the UK, who's your best friend at United?
My best friend at United is David Herrera. And that's also an obvious one. We were friends before. We were playing together in the club, so that's important. Ander was a very big friend and still is, but now from afar. But to be honest, you know, with the people that we have been playing with for more years, like Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, now that he's on loan, but very, very nice guy. With the kitman, that they have been there forever, with the chef, with Mike, with the physios, with the doctor. I mean, it's not only between us players, but between the people that is with us on a daily basis. They are great people and they are very important for the success of the team. So I'm very happy with the people that I have met in United, because you really create friendships rather than only teammates.
You mentioned Ander there, and actually Israel in Ethiopia has got in touch to say, can I ask you one question? Do you miss playing with Ander Herrera?
Yeah, I do miss him on the pitch, but also in the dressing room and outside. We were living in the same area. We were seeing each other after training for lunch, dinner, to watch football together. So yeah, of course I miss him. He's a very good friend. I'm still in touch with him very often. He's very happy in Paris. But when you understand football in the same way, I think it's enjoyable to play with someone like him or with someone like Bruno now. So you always miss them when you don't play with people like this.
And Saeed in Spain, are you cooking your food in quarantine?
I am. I am. Is one of the things that I'm learning in quarantine. You know, I'm watching movies, series, I'm reading, I'm organizing the house. I think everyone is doing what we never thought we had time to do, which is, okay, I'm going to organize these boxes that I have somewhere and this drawer and this whatever. And so I'm doing that, and I'm cooking with my girlfriend. We're cooking quite often. I'm learning, and I'm enjoying it. I think it can be quite relaxing and therapeutic if you are not in a rush. And so I'm cooking. Yeah.
Actually, talking about the current situation, Maureen in the USA says, how is your family doing in both the UK and back in Spain at the moment in this difficult time?
They are good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Of course, in Spain, the situation is quite difficult at the moment. Every single day, it seems to be even worse. So hopefully we can reach, the highest point, and then from them build on. But my family is fine. My friends are fine. So that's lucky, and that's a privilege also. And myself here in the UK, we are okay in our home in Manchester. So thank you for asking, and I hope that everyone stays safe. Everyone takes care of each other, and especially of the elderly. It's important now.
Quite right. This one from George in the UK. Who was your inspiration growing up?
I mean, my dad used to be a professional football player, so as far as I have memory, I was watching his training, his game, trying to learn from him. So he was a big inspiration. My granddad, my mother's dad, he was a great inspiration, not only for me, but for my whole family. And so he didn't play football professionally. He told me he was a good striker once ago, and that he scored many goals. I don't know if that's true or not, but thanks to my career, thanks to my games, thanks to the teams that I have played, I felt that he was happy, that he was proud of his grandson, and that's one of the, if not the most positive thing about my career, or about having been a football player, to make my family and my friends happy rather than myself. And he was definitely an inspiration with my dad, my mom, and my sister.
Last couple now. One, Richard Fenton says, as a very experienced player, which he says very experienced, what advice would you give an 18-year-old Juan Mata if you were part of this sort of exciting emerging United side that Ollie is putting together?
What I would say to myself in that situation, or what I try to say to the players that are in that situation now, is, first of all, they don't have to rush things. They have to believe in the process. They have to believe in their development, and secondly, and very important also, they have to believe in themselves at any time. They will face challenges, like we said before. They will face moments where they think they can be in the team, they can be in the squad, and they are not. And so they have to conduct that frustration to make them consistent in their minds and in their body to cope with the demands of professional football player. I would tell myself to be professional, to don't forget all the things that I have been doing during my academy times that brought me there. And now that I'm there, I shouldn't change. I should keep doing the same things because they are the ones that have been successful and helpful for myself. And I will tell myself to enjoy in the pitch and to try to just play like I have been playing all the time, which is not thinking too much about the consequences, but playing your football, express yourself. And I'm sure that's the best way to play at your best level. And after that, of course, it depends on the manager and the team, but I think they will have done their part.
This one from Colin in the States, who says, how has your family played a role in your success and your love of the game?
Key. They were key. I think for every player is very important, not only the family, but the people that is around you, advising you or, telling you the truth. There's so many people that you have around that sometimes wouldn't tell you the truth because they want to annoy you or they want to only tell you the things that you want to hear, especially when things are going well in your career. But I think it's very important to be surrounded by someone that tells you the truth, tell you their opinion, and really care about you, not only because of the player you are, but because of the person that you are and because of who you are as a family member or as a friend. And so they have been very important in my career, and without them and without my group of friends and my girlfriend, I wouldn't be in the situation that I am.
The last two here. Krista from Finland. Have you ever been to Finland?
Never. Actually, never been to Finland. I would love to go, but I've never been. No.
We started by asking you about food questions, and we're ending with a food question. When you were in Glasgow for the 2012 Olympics, did you try iron brew and haggis?
I don't remember trying it. No.
Oh, I think you would. So you probably did.
If I will have, I will remember. Huh?
Oh, I think you would have. You'd remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sorry. So I have to try it now.
Well, cool. We'll say you haven't. I don't think you want those on the menu, but there you go.
No.
All right. Well, you've answered every question, Juan, and we really appreciate your time. So thank you so much for being so generous with your time. We'll speak to you soon.
No problem. No problem. It's good to see you all and stay safe. Take care.